こんにちは。無限組へようこそ。第2回目のですよ。Howdy and welcome to the second installment of Mugen Gumi. Kame Masahiro と申します。I'm Masahiro Kame, and I'm going to continue the introduction that we started with Shogi. One of the things that I'm trying to do by providing the basics of how the pieces operate is to provide a common grounding so that doing some standard openings will make sense, understanding the limitations that each piece brings. So let's start with a quick review. The king, or O, is very much like the king in chess, able to move one step in each direction. It's the center of gravity for the game. If you capture the king, the game is over. There is no preset ability to castle. Castling the king does involve the laborious process of drifting him over to one corner or the other. And the king does not promote. The emperor is always the emperor. So that's about it for the king. Gold general, or king, has a subset of the king's powers, is able to move forward laterally, but only in reverse, directly to the rear. Laterally and because of his ability to only retreat by directly to the rear, it's easy to get boxed in with if you advance your golds too far up the board, where they have no ability to retreat. So it's very common practice to keep them close to the king in a defensive capacity primarily. Gold does not promote as well like the king. And then finally, from the last time, silver. This also is a subset of the king's ability to move, except that it's limited just to the 3 squares to the front and the diagonals to the rear. No lateral ability, no ability to withdraw directly to the rear. It's a very useful capability. Silver, you get, like gold, silver you get 2 pieces, or koma. Silver is used both in the defense and the offense. Frequent openings involve keeping one behind to supplement the gold to guard the king, and using the second silver to go forward and try to break, to penetrate your opponent's line. So silver is frequently used to kind of snake up to the board. And then, as mentioned, this is the promotion line. And once he crosses that, he may be promoted, but it is not required to do so. And so it really depends on the situation once silver gets to this point on whether to promote or not. That lateral, or the lateral capability, the lateral diagonals to withdraw, is a very important capability, and so it frequently is useful to delay promoting silver until the time is right to do so. One word about promotion is that promotion occurs after the move is made, so you cannot promote in this place and take an opponent's piece in using a power that belongs to the promoted piece, if you follow. So, assuming that this situation occurred, possibly the best move for silver would be to decline remaining in this position one way or the other, either by going forward this way or this way, any of his allowable moves. Now, having gone to either of these two, he could promote. Become narugin. Silver is gin. Narugin is after he has the power of gold, but remains silver. Narugin, rather than simply being called gold, because it's important to remember that this piece was originally a silver. However, if he withdraws out of the promotion zone, then he cannot promote until he re-enters the promotion zone. And now to introduce a new piece. This functions as the rook. He's called Hisha, frequently just referred to as he. Moves exactly as a rook. Just as in the case of a rook, if he encounters a friendly piece, a piece on his own side, he must stop. He's unable to jump over, just as in the case of chess. If he encounters an enemy piece, then he has the option of taking him or not. When he promotes, you flip him over, and quite frankly, there's no reason not to promote Hisha once he becomes promotion eligible. He loses nothing, he gains everything. And so what happens after he promotes and becomes Ryu, or dragon, he's able to, in addition to keeping his basic move, unlimited squares, he's able to pick up one square on each diagonal. So it's a step in the direction of the queen, but not the full capability. As I mentioned last time, there is no piece in shogi that matches that capability. Hisha or rook, you only get one, unlike chess as well. And finally, Kaku, or the bishop. Same move set on the diagonals. Unlimited, except if he encounters a friendly piece where he must stop short, or if he encounters an enemy piece where he could take it. So that's the movement for Kaku. Again, unlike chess, you only get one. And that is one of the key limitations to this piece, because with chess, the combination of two adjacent to each other creates an impermeable barrier across the board. This piece alone cannot do that. There's no way to establish a diagonal impermeable barrier. Hisha does establish impermeable barriers because they're on the cardinal directions. This piece cannot do that. Nevertheless, it's still a very powerful piece. As in chess, there's a high danger of being forked by Kaku, or the bishop. And I'll cover that later. Kaku promotes, again, once crossing into the 7th rank from you. Again, there's no advantage to waiting to promote Kaku, or the bishop. So, once eligible, he should be promoted. And what he gains is the ability to go one square in each cardinal direction. Again, a step in the direction of the queen, but not the full capability. A note about the pieces, or koma. Incidentally, exactly the same kanji as the koma on a shamisen. You'll note that regardless of which side, the pieces are the same color. Yes, one side's black, one side's white. I'll cover that later. but there's nothing on the piece that'll indicate that. What you do have is the point to the front that indicates the direction of play. Part of that is driven by the fact that captured pieces can be reused by the capturing side. And so it'd be rather inconvenient to have colored pieces corresponding to one side when they may start working for the opponent. So that completes introducing all the major pieces in Shogi. 3 minor pieces remain. One of the interesting things about Shogi is the relative importance of the piece is indicated by its size. O, the king or the emperor, is the largest. Hisha, the rook. Kaku, the bishop. Kin, the gold general. Gin, the silver general, are all roughly the same size and one step down. And then the 2 of the remaining pieces are somewhat smaller, and then the pawns are the smallest. Just an interesting observation of the game. So the size of the piece does provide you some indication, especially as a beginner, of the relative importance of the piece to the game and to your success in terms of being able to win the game. Once I complete the introduction of the pieces, I would like to go through board setup and then do a few small scenarios, and then start opening up with actual commonly used shogi openings. Bolgin for one. That's basically pole silver, and it's silver climbing a pole and going across the board to develop the situation for the game. Pretty much up to the rook's file, or close to. That's one standard opening, and I think that the understanding of how the pieces function just within themselves, intrinsically, provides some ability to understand when we get into piece interactions going forward. And then the interesting thing about the promotions, O, or the king, and Kin, gold, do not promote. They are perfect as they are. And silver, or Gin, does promote, as do the rook, Hisha, which becomes Ryu, the dragon, and the bishop, or Kaku, which becomes Uma, or the horse. I hope you've enjoyed this session, and I hope that you continue tuning in. Again, if you like what I'm trying to do here, please hit the like button, and if the topic does interest you, by all means do subscribe. One other thing to note is that the topic may not always be shogi. Mugen Gumi was kind of set up intentionally to reflect that your host has many interests, among them shamisen, taiko, shinobue, and some others. And some of those will become more apparent later on, I suppose, if this continues. In any case, I find this enjoyable, and I hope you do too. Stay safe. Mata jikai.